When you think of SpongeBob, I bet the first thing that pops in your head are the memes. There are so many memes of SpongeBob that I couldn't sit here and list all of them, but some of my favorites are the evil Patrick. Basically any character blowing up, like it's really funny seeing any scene, whether it's Squidward, random fish characters, it's very hilarious to see these characters blowing up for no reason. And the majority of these memes all come from the first 3 seasons of the show. But I think SpongeBob is more than just the memes. To this day, I actually really enjoy rewatching old SpongeBob episodes from the first 3 seasons. They are just as fun and entertaining as when I used to watch them as a kid. I would always love waking up early. I would remember before I'd head off to school, I'd get to watch an episode or two. It was my morning ritual. I would always watch a SpongeBob episode, and it would always brighten my day right off the bat, just watching a SpongeBob episode, which would always get me ready for the day ahead since I was never really happy in like elementary and shit. So SpongeBob was literally my one like happiness I would get before I'd go off to school. And I bet a lot of you have fond memories of watching SpongeBob as a kid, and I bet a lot of you also know how good this show is. But with the newer seasons of SpongeBob, also with the movies, it just feels like everything is just so lifeless. It feels weird rather than having weird moments in it, because the old SpongeBob does have those strange moments, but it feels like the newer SpongeBob episodes are just weird from start to finish. There is no moment of brevity where you're not seeing something weird. Everything feels like it's supposed to stimulate your brain by showing off the characters' strange facial animations and very expressive ways of looking or talking that feels like it's more suited to distract a 1-year-old baby. Like a parent puts this on just to have them mindlessly watch something so they're not bugging them, right? Rather than something to watch with your kids and be both entertained. And the newer seasons just don't have good moral lessons to compare with an older SpongeBob episode. Like in an episode where SpongeBob is trying to pass his boating exam, he gets Patrick's help, and when he realizes he's cheating, he promises Mrs. Puff to do better when she comes back from the hospital in the next semester, which is a very good lesson to not cheat on, your test and shit, because, it helps you learn how to study and whatnot. But in the later seasons, SpongeBob, he gets stuck in his ringer, and Patrick makes the situation worse by gluing him into it, so he's kind of even more stuck, and obviously he gets upset, and they hang out for the rest of the day. Obviously, SpongeBob is just miserable the whole time, while Patrick is having the time of his life, even though he basically screwed over his best friend, right? And when SpongeBob finally breaks and yells at him for basically fucking him over like this, SpongeBob is treated like the villain, which is complete bullshit, because he didn't want to be stuck in his ringer, but everyone treats him like the villain for this episode. And at the end of the day, the moral of the story is that crying can solve your problems, which is so fucking retarded. Like, what? What kind of lesson is this? It just feels like a lot of the later seasons ruined what made the old SpongeBob so memorable. Not just with the lessons point, but the characters. And on the note of Patrick, it feels like a lot of the characters in the later seasons are now more caricatures of what they used to be. Patrick is literally a brain dead moron. He doesn't think at all. Like before he was dumb, but he wasn't brain dead. He was a good friend at heart at the end of the day. SpongeBob is just a child now. He doesn't act childish. Before he used to be an adult with child tendencies, right? He works out, but he uses stuffed animals for his equipment. He loves his job and is very kind. He sees the good in everyday life, whereas characters like Squidward are what we see ourselves as now, right? We're just kind of like going through the motions rather than being like SpongeBob, who's always happy to go to work and work long hours and shit. It feels like a lot of the characters, they're kind of not just caricatures of what they used to be. They're all just stereotypical now. Like Sandy, she was smart, but she didn't go heavily into the science stuff. Sure, she liked a lot of it, but she wasn't obsessed with it like in the newer episodes. It just feels like a lot of these characters aren't what they used to be. Another aspect I really like about the older SpongeBob is the look and feel of the show. It just feels nice but rough around the edges, if you can understand what I mean. It feels chill vibes a lot of the time. The characters didn't also feel like shiny new products off of a conveyor belt. They felt like rough sketches at times, and I like that because it gives them a lot of character. It gives them their uniqueness. SpongeBob now is a lot more shinier and like he's not as rough around the edges. The newer SpongeBob is a lot more smoother. His like body feels too polished. A thing I don't particularly like about the newer SpongeBob is how the characters are too expressive now. It feels like they're forced to always be expressive to show show weird faces all the time. The newer seasons are over the top in the way they look, the way they point, the way they turn. It's just overly expressive compared to before when, sure, they would have those moments where their faces would be expressive, but it wouldn't be 24/7 throughout that whole episode, right? It would only be at certain moments or for certain cues or a joke. It feels like the newer SpongeBob is for brain rotted kids that can't pay attention for more than 5 seconds. They need to have something crazy happening every second. Another aspect I really liked about the older SpongeBob is the music. The music has a lot of roots in its Hawaiian culture, like a lot of the ukuleles used, and it just feels so nice. It feels so calming to just listen to this music. But a lot of it is not used anymore at all in later seasons. The only song that I can still hear from those earlier seasons is the Grass Skirt Chase song. That's literally the only one I can tell you right off the bat that's still around in newer seasons. These songs are very good for just casual scenes that nothing's crazy is going on. They really fit the vibe of this town. An episode of the older SpongeBob episodes that I really like is the leaf blower episode, where without any dialogue, it tells a story. It shows SpongeBob having fun messing around with this leaf blower, and they don't talk at all throughout the whole episode. But the music and the direction of the scene is so fun and entertaining that you don't need the characters to talk. It retains your attention without needing to say anything. It's a show don't tell kind of episode, right? It just feels like SpongeBob, in short, is now a corporate entity that is more in line with profit rather than the creativity that the older seasons had. And I would say a lot of it is attributed to Steven Hillenburg no longer being around, as a lot of what made the original SpongeBob so entertaining and good came from Hillenburg. This was his ideas, his creative input. This was his baby, basically. And the corporate suits basically fucked it all up for money. And it's really sad to see the state that SpongeBob is in now. But this is just my point of view. Do you agree or disagree on my take? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's all I gotta say. Bye.